What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. So today we're going to be talking about how to, I guess, succeed in an interview and my experiences with interviews as of like up to now, which I don't know. I've been on like 6 interviews, I want to say, in my entire life now. Obviously I'm really kind of just getting started in my career, so I haven't been on a ton of interviews, but I don't know, I kind of wanted to talk about my experience and how I feel you should go into an interview feeling, because I don't know, I have an interview coming up and I feel like, you know, me just talking about it will kind of help me get prepared for it. So first off, let's get the, you know, consensus, you know, idea of interviews out. Interviews suck. I mean, no one likes an interview. I don't even think people who interview other people like doing an interview. So not only does it suck for you as the interviewee, it sucks being the interviewer as well. And I've been kind of on both fences. As an interviewer, I haven't really had, I've never done like a professional interview, but I've done like small time interviews for like stuff for like, when I ran servers, I used to interview people when they wanted to be like a moderator and stuff. So, I mean, you can kind of attest that to being an interviewer, but I mean, I don't know, how far does that really go? But yes, so interviews suck. You know, you're nervous, You get your thoughts racing before the interview. You lose all your thoughts during the interview. You gain all this knowledge back after the interview. There's the anxiety. There's, you know, the sweating. You know, it just sucks. And you have to get super dressed up for an interview, which I don't know. I don't mind getting dressed up. But at the same time, I also like casual, like not super casual. Like, I don't know, I could have the collar and like a nice button shirt or whatever. But I don't know, like khakis, I'm hit and miss with khakis. Sometimes I don't mind them, sometimes I'm like, khakis suck. But in the business world, khakis are like the lord and savior of, you know, pants. So yeah, but just about every interview I've ever been on for a job, I have been nervous. And the first thing that happens is, when I'm going to the interview, I seem to be able to, I'll ask myself questions, and I seem to be able to answer just about every question in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, neat. So how do you fix an Outlook profile? Oh, you just remove it and re-add it, and that's the quickest way, probably. Yeah, that's correct. You know, the quickest way to fix a corrupted Outlook profile is to remove it and re-add it, you know? But in an interview, and this is just saying, like, I could probably answer this question in an interview. In an interview, when the interviewer comes up to you and they're like, so you have a corrupted Outlook profile here, how do you go about fixing it? Restart the computer. You know, you draw blanks. And that's one thing that I've always felt was super unfair about an interview, is because it's, you know, a one-on-one with a stranger. You don't know how this person is. You don't know this person. You know, you're meeting them most of the time for the first time. You know, for people with high levels of anxiety, I mean, it really just kind of sucks. And like, I don't have really bad anxiety. I mean, I get anxiety, but I mean, I dread interviews. I hate going in there and just not knowing when they ask me a question, you know, the answer, and then like, when I'm leaving, oh yeah, I know the answer now. You know, and that's probably one of the worst feelings, you know, getting into the interview, they ask you a question, you're like, I don't know, I might be able to find out the answer for you, and then you leave and you're like, shit, man, I just found out the answer. Do I call them? Do I walk back in there and tell them? You know, what do I do? You know, I've had that happen. I was on an interview once, and they asked me a question about how you find the, what was it? It was how you find the IP for a computer, and I told them this, like, complicated method for finding an IP, and they wanted, like, an answer for finding it, like, if I were to explain it to a user. The easiest way to do that is obviously go to the website, what's my IP? But I told them some complicated way about going into the command prompt and all this stuff, and I mean, it was the right answer, but it wasn't the right answer for that type of question or how they wanted it. But I realized that after the interview, I was driving home from the interview, and I'm like, damn it, I could have gotten that one right and probably saved myself 10 minutes of an explanation right there. You know, I keep saying things are the worst ever, you know, like, oh, this is the worst feeling in an interview, this is. But we're going to go with another one. Another horrible feeling is when you don't get a call back. And I've actually had this happen. I went for a tech support position. It was probably a little out of my reach. They were looking for someone with some experience, and this is when I had none. And they never called me back. And, you know, I had to call them like 3 or 4 times until they finally said, sorry, we're not interested. And I went on 3 interviews with them. I talked to 3 different people. I was slowly going up the chain. I eventually talked to the head person, and then they never called me back. And you sit there and you wait and you wait and you wait, and you're like, you know, do I keep going for other interviews? Which obviously you should. You know, what do I do in that case? And the option, you just call them, you know, wait about a week, give them a call, you know, if they say they want to keep you, if they don't, you know, but at least you get an answer and you can move on with your life. I feel like I've had that one where I waited and I was like, you know, they were going to call me back, and I waited 2 weeks and I finally called them for them just to tell me we're not interested. And it was like, oh, you couldn't have shot me like an email or something. So yeah, I've had that happen. I've also had, this is another situation that you might get stuck in. So I got an offer from this company to work here, and then like 2 days later I got an offer from another company, but I had already accepted this offer. And the reason I accepted it was because I never heard back from the other company after 2 weeks. So I was under the 2-week mindset where they don't want me, you know, it's done, it's whatever, I'll accept this job. And then I got an email saying, oh, we're still working out the details. And I was like, well, it's been 2 weeks now. And I don't know, I feel like if after 2 weeks you haven't made up your mind if you want to hire me, then, or if you're in that situation, you're sitting there like 2 weeks later and they're still making up their mind, you should move on. If they can't make up their mind like that, imagine what it's going to be like when you're working for them and they're trying to make a decision and you're like, let's go, and they're like, oh, 3 weeks later. So I've been in that situation before. That's another like shitty one because I felt bad. I told them, I was like, all right, I already accepted a job offer, and they're like, oh, well, you know, can we still send you ours? And it sounded like they wanted me to work there, but I had already pretty much started here, so I was like, nah, I'll pass on that for now. All right, so now some things that I've now that we've talked about how much interviews suck and why they suck, let's go over some ways that you can kind of maybe make an interview better for yourself. One is to obviously try to relax, breathe in and out. You know, if you do draw blanks on questions that they're asking, one, always tell them that you will find it out for them. So if you ask me a question right now and I didn't know the answer, be like, all right, I don't know, but I will be willing to find out and get back to you with the answer. And then maybe even, you know, after the interview, keep records of all the questions they asked you that you didn't know, which hopefully isn't a lot. And then email them the answers just to show, hey, I went out of my way and I found the answers. That's going to look good. You know, if they're looking at people and they're like, wow, this guy didn't know the stuff, but he emailed us the answers afterwards, it shows you went out of your way, even after the interview, to find them the answer for that. And they may not need the answer, they probably don't, but it just shows good character on your part that you're willing, you know, to already start working for them that way. Another one is, and this is obviously the hardest one to do, is to take some deep breaths and relax. You know, it's just an interview. I mean, I still get nervous no matter what, but I mean, I try to look at it as, what's the worst they can do? Not offer me the job I don't have. You know, they can't take away the job, you never had it. They can't take away anything else. And what's the worst they can do? Say no, sorry, we're not interested, and you keep looking. You know, obviously I know situations are different. Some people might need a job right then and there and they're banking on getting that job. I also don't think you should bank on just one particular job. I think if you're out job hunting and you need a job, you need to spread thin and try and get anything at the time. You know, and once you have a job, you can look for the job you want. You know, you're never locked in. Also, I've kind of gotten advice from other people that have gone through the same thing when it comes to finding a job. A lot of places require, like they say, that they require experience in like 3 years and stuff like that. Even if you have no experience, submit your resume. You know, go out for the jobs that are a little bit above your tier, because you're either going to get 2 options. 1, they're going to say, sorry, you know, you're not really up there. 2, they'll never reach out to you. And actually the third one here, they may reach out to you. They may be like, hey, you know, we can hire this guy at maybe a lesser rate than we would pay someone that we would normally hire for this position, and we can kind of train him as we go, and boom, you're instantly learning more from that position, and you can put that on your resume that you started out, you know, as, let's say, like a tier 2 tech, you know, instead of not having any tech, you know, you went straight to tier 2. You know, you never know who's going to be willing to give you a chance. Those interviews, by the way, the ones that are out of your league, I definitely think you should go in there like with some like notes on your sleeve or something like that, or like some, you know, the earpiece in there giving you the answers. Those are obviously going to be hard ones, and you want to show that you can you know, answer some of the tougher questions. So overall, everybody hates interviews. Everybody gets nervous on interviews, even if they say they don't. Even if people seem to nail every interview they go on, everybody gets nervous. I can't imagine someone not being nervous about an interview. I think that's just stupid if they say they're not. So I hope the tips kind of helped you guys out as well. Obviously, the tips work differently for everybody. Some may work, some may not. You know, some things may greatly help you, and some things may actually hinder you that we talked about. But overall, just, you know, wanted to put this video out there since I have an interview coming up for a new position. But yeah, if you guys like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Obviously, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos about things that I just happen to, you know off the top of my head. There should be like a little bell icon next to the subscribe button. You can click on that and get notifications for when my videos go live right then and there. And feel free to comment down below. Maybe some of this stuff helped you out. Maybe you've heard this stuff before. You know, maybe you have your own experience you want to share from an interview. Definitely put that down below. I enjoy reading that kind of stuff. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video, and keep being awesome. All right, bye.